So in this video, I'm going to guide you through a generalized version of what I do in my embodied healing sessions. So when I'm working with clients, small groups or one-on-one clients, it looks a little bit different because it's customized, right? And we when I work with a client or a group, we start with some sort of intention setting and processing around what's coming up for them in the present moment before we go into the practice. And it's always a little bit customized and unique based on what is coming up for them in a given moment. But I know how many, and I myself have been feeling a lot of stress and trauma reactions, and there's a lot of emotional intensity coming up presently. And so my invitation for you, my hope for you, is that you will use this practice, set aside time when you can be really present with it. I know this is showing up on a social media platform, but I hope that you will give yourself the time and the space to be really present with this and not be distracted, so that this can help you move through what is present for you in this moment. So before we begin, I want to invite you to consider an intention, and maybe even we're going to start standing. I'll talk you through some of the aspects of the practice in a moment, but I want to invite you into exploring any intentions that you're aware of, and or what is here for you right now. What are you feeling? What thoughts, particularly heavy thoughts or clunky thoughts or uncomfortable thoughts, have been running through your mind? Is there anything right now that is feeling particularly triggering for you? Are there any physical sensations in your body? Are there any emotions, feelings that are present right now? And if you like, you can press pause and you can take not a ton of time, but just a few moments to free write, automatically write on that. Or you can just show up to the practice and see what comes up. If you're not really sure what is present, then my invitation to you is show up, be here, and see what unfolds, what shows up for you. So if you want to take a moment, you can pause me. So in this practice, we combine all self-healing tools. All of this, you don't need anything fancy. For the sake of being able to put this up in music licensing, I'm going to do this practice silently. I do have playlists for this practice. So if you want to, I'll actually put a link up. I'll put a link up, but if you have trouble finding it, you can always send me a message or leave a comment, and I will just directly send you the link to a playlist. If you find music and sound are helpful tools for helping you drop in. So we're going to start with some very simple breath and very simple movement exercises, very simple movements to really, really ground and get a little bit less in the mind, a little bit more into your body. We'll start there. And you'll do those practices standing. So you need kind of 2 spaces before you jump into this practice. So you'll need a space where you can stand and have, enough space to sort of stretch out your arms, maybe twist. I'm going to guide you through some movement, and then there's going to be space for some intuitive movement. And then you'll need a space where you can comfortably lay flat on your back, completely flat. That can be on a couch, a bed. I'm going to pivot the camera when I move over there. It can be on a couch, on a bed, laying down on a mat on the floor. And you'll also need, in the reclined space, any props or support, maybe a pillow under your knees. You might get hot or cold, so maybe you have a blanket or socks. And then the other thing is, if you do happen to have an eye mask, this can help you when you're in the reclined practice. This can help you drop in. If you have some more intense trauma and you know that you have a tendency to kind of dissociate, closing your eyes or cover them may actually be triggering in a way that is not helpful. So please really feel into whether or not, if you have an eye mask, that would be helpful. And know that if you choose to use it, or you choose to close your eyes at any point, and you start realizing you're kind of dissociating, you're disconnecting, or it's creating a bit of a trauma response, fear response, then open your eyes, take off the mask. What is most important is that you honor the experience that comes up. Now, know that in this practice, we are we are intentionally bringing up some uncomfortable feelings, right? Intentionally bringing up fear, intentionally bringing up anxiety, intentionally bringing up emotions. And so there's a balance, right? Between sitting with your feelings, being with your feelings, expressing them, moving with them. There's a difference between that and almost shifting into a self-flagellatory or self-injurious space of kind of, I have to be here, I have to sit with it, I have to be uncomfortable, right? And so I don't want you to re-traumatize yourself by having the kind of, there's no bootstrapping your healing. It's not I don't really believe in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, period, most of the time. The warped capitalist notion and damaging programming, but especially in this space, please bring compassion and gentleness into this practice. And beyond that, if because this is a recording and I am not with you to help you in processing, it's going to be a shorter version of the practice, intentionally. And I want you to, if this brings up something that feels really intense, please send me a message, and we can get you some additional integration, support, and processing. So those are all my sort of disclaimers. And please know this is a general taste of what this practice looks like. And if you want to explore deeper, you can always message me to book an individual session, and we can do an individual session together of this embodied healing practice. So if you haven't already tuned in and you want to set an intention or a focus point, or there's something you want to kind of intentionally bring up to the surface, if there's been an emotion that's been really plaguing you and you want to take a second to bring it up to the surface, please do. You're going to want to have water on hand. So take a second to grab water, and then I'm already getting warm. We are going to start standing. I'm having to try to work with the camera so you can see my feet. I might kind of move my feet out of the frame, but I just want to demonstrate something. So you're going to start and come to stand. If you want to take a moment to diffuse some oils or burn a small bit of sage or Palo Santo, or there are oils you want to apply, any of those things that you intuitively feel called to, please feel free. And you're going to come to stand, feet kind of directly under your hips or maybe a little bit wider than hip distance. And just start by lifting up your toes so that you can spread them wide and set them back down. Really pressing your big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe on your right foot, on your left foot, pressing them in. Bring your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your low belly. Sometimes we switch that up. And just bend and straighten your knees a few times. And then come to stillness, finding just a soft bend in your knees so they're not locked out. Just soft bend in your knees. If it feels safe and comfortable, you'll close your eyes here. Otherwise, soften your gaze and find a spot on the floor, probably 4 to 5 feet in front of you, so that you can have kind of a chin tucked into chest, neck long posture. And just find a spot to look at on the floor, one spot, so your gaze isn't kind of going around one spot, one gazing point to just focus in. And throughout this practice, as you are breathing, you'll breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're just gonna start. I'm being fidgety and moving. If you've got any fidgets that you need to wiggle like me in this moment, you can take them, but eventually see if you can find stillness. Your heels pressing heavy into the floor beneath you. Outside edge of your left foot, outside edge of your right foot pressing into the floor. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Inside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right foot pressing into the floor. The ball of your left foot, the ball of your right foot presses into the floor. All 10 toes press into the floor. Entire bottom of your left foot, entire bottom of your right foot press into the floor. And as you are inhaling, breathe into your belly. So your left hand, that hand on your belly, lifts. Your belly puffs up. Maybe your breath is so full that your rib cage starts to expand, your chest starts to lift. If not, that's okay. Exhales, you empty out. Maybe there are some sighs. Some expression, some sound. Take 5 more cycles of breath here in as much stillness as feels comfortable. Focus is on your feet. Each exhale, imagine your foot presses in. Each foot presses in heavier. Sending the energy down from your head, down through your throat, your heart, your rib cage, your upper belly, your lower belly, your hips, your pelvis, thighs, knees, shins, ankles, feet. If you like a visualization, on your exhales, you imagine roots growing out of the bottom of each foot, down through the floor, down through the concrete, down through the soil, the earth, all the way down into the core of Mama Gaia, Mother Earth. And then inhales, you breathe up sacred Pachamama, Mother Gaia energy through the bottoms of your feet, through your ankles, your shins, all the way up through your entire body to the crown of your head. Exhales, roots grow in. Inhales, pulling up sacred earth energy, mother energy, held energy. You continue that breath. We'll start to add some movement. If your eyes are closed, it may be helpful to crack them open if you want to follow along with me. Otherwise, you can just listen to the sound of my voice. You're going to start swaying side to side ever so gently, but the movement is coming from your feet. So you're going to roll. You're going to rock over to the right side, rolling out of the outside edge of your right foot, inside edge of your left foot. You can crack open and see. So I'm only the inside edge of my left foot is down, outside edge of my right foot. Exhale brings you back through center. And then over the other way. Inside edge of your right foot, outside edge of your left foot. Breathe in here, hold. Other way. Exhale moves you all the way over to the right. Inhale to stay. Exhale over to the left. Moving slowly. Inhale to stay. Find your breath and start to flow back and forth. Exhales, you move. Inhales, you hold. Keeping a soft bend in your knees. If you like, you could drop your arms alongside you. Just letting them hang. And if it feels natural, maybe you pick up the pace. Every inhale and exhale, you move. Or you can stay with that slower pace. Your breath is full here. Rocking side to side across the bottom of your feet as you breathe. Maybe other parts of your body, your shoulders, your head start to intuitively move. Move really gently, especially if your eyes are closed. You've got a few more sways side to side here. Three more times each side. And after you finish up your next round, you find stillness once again. Maybe your hands are on your body, or they rest alongside you. Chin tucked into your chest slightly. And we'll start to, instead of moving side to side, rock front to back. Up to you, this can be a very small movement, just rocking ever so gently, lifting your heels up just 1 centimeter. As you rest on your toes, the balls of your feet. And your exhales, you rock back, lift your toes ever so slightly. Or maybe you come all the way up onto your toes as you come forward. And rock all the way back, sinking your hips back a little bit. Inhale forward. Exhale, you rock back, weight in your heels. It can look really tiny, just like this. Almost like you're barely moving and you're just shifting the weight from the front of your feet to the back of your feet. Or it can be a little bit bigger. Depends somewhat on your balance. Do not assume that more or bigger movement is better. Feel into what feels good in your body. If you cracked your eyes open, soften your gaze or close your eyes once again. Inhales, weight comes forward. Exhales, it sinks back. Now you'll notice I'm sort of intuitively moving my arms. Do that. Hands can be on body. There is no wrong way to do it here. Just rocking gently front to back. There's a soft bend in your knees here. If you lose your breath, just notice and come back. Full inhales, full exhales. Take 3 more cycles front to back. And then find stillness. We're going to start to turn this into a circle. So you're sort of moving the energy around, circling through your feet. But you're starting to add movement through your hips. Maybe your knees bend. And again, it can be a super tiny movement. Imagining the weight running up to your right toes, left toes, outside edge of your left foot, left heel, outside edge of your right foot, right toes. It can be sort of very small. Or it can be a little bit bigger. We'll go both directions, so don't worry about which direction you're going in. Maybe your arms start to move and just sway. You can let them hang or you can keep them on your body. And find a rhythm with your breath here. Maybe you inhale as your pelvis tilts forward, exhale back, inhale as you forward, exhale back. Your natural rhythm. You might make some sighs or some sound. And if there is a moment that creeps in of like, this is weird, what am I doing? Is this even doing anything? I don't know. If there's that judgment that creeps in, say hello. Don't try to squish it. Invite it in with compassion, high judgment. And invite curiosity, judgment. Why are you here? What are you telling me? What are you revealing? What are you teaching me? What are you asking? My hips often will want to kind of shift away from that circle and into a little infinity, a little figure 8. If that starts to happen for you, trust it. And then maybe lean back into the circles. If the judgment creeps in, the uncertainty, the doubt, notice it, sit with it, be with it. Try not to hit the wall behind you. And remind yourself whatever you came here for. If your intention was openness and to practice openness, if your intention was to work with a specific emotion or feeling or pain, that's why you're here. And ask yourself, what does your judgment sound like? What does your self-judgment sound like? What does it feel like? What does your self-doubt sound like? And on your exhales, you make that sound. Ha. After your next circle, pause in the middle and then just go the other way. Again, maybe it's a big circle through your hips, your whole body. Maybe it's this tiny movement just through your feet and your legs and your knees. You are still grounded here. Your energy is moving down your legs, pulling up grounded earth energy, root energy, presence in your body. As you find movement. At this point, you may start to feel some desire for kind of some shakes, some little bounces. All of that is welcome here. We're starting to shift into the space where your intuitive movement, your body may be telling you, hey, this is how I want to move. Trust it, lean into it. Using this sort of circling as your just foundation, this is your template, and you get to make with it what you desire. So maybe your practice starts to look a little more like some ecstatic dance. Some shaking. Some wiggling. Maybe that figure 8 comes back in. If you can, see if you can try to go the opposite direction just a little while, but right here. Notice what's up in your mind. If there's busyness, if there's thought, if there's judgment, make a sound of what's up in your mind. After your next circle, stillness. Right hand on heart, left hand on low belly. If there are yawns or coughs or sneezes, cool, good. Just know something is moving. And you're going to start here just for a minute or so to let your hands rest alongside you and just find some kind of shakes. So you're maybe kind of wiggling at your knees. You're shaking out your arms. You're dropping your chin to your chest. You might crack your eyes open here. You might get a little disoriented and dizzy. You're just moving. Maybe there's kind of some steps, grounding your feet, lifting your feet up and grounding them back in. There might be some sounds, some shaking. Maybe you jump around. You are still breathing here. If you are jumping, make sure you are still landing the feet energy in your legs. Shaking it out just for a little while longer. Raise your arms above your head. Maybe you give yourself a little shimmy, a little wiggle through your hips, shaking out your legs. It doesn't matter what it looks like, shake. See if you can try to shake every cell, every movement. Maybe hands come down to your knees. And you shake out your head, stretch out your neck, be gentle here. Keep shaking for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stillness. Eyes closed, your gaze soft, feet wide, knees soft, chin to chest, right hand on heart, left hand on belly. And notice what's present here. Stay in this little pause for as long as you need. We're gonna pivot the camera angle. If you need a moment to grab some water, you grab some water. And when you are ready, you are going to find your space to lay down. Take your time. And as you are moving in this transitionary space, my invitation is for you to move very, very, very slowly. Very, very, very slow. Maybe you see if you can keep your eyes closed or your gaze just ever so slightly cracked open. And then you are going to lay down. I should have moved these pillows out of the way. You are going to lay down. You're going to have, I'll kind of face this way. That makes more sense. You're going to lay down with your knees bent, feet nice and wide if you're on a yoga mat. Imagine, ladies, if you were in stirrups, knock your knees in together so that you're not holding your legs up. If it feels comfortable, you might place a pillow kind of between your legs if that feels comfortable. And if at any point you intuitively want to change this shape, you'll change this shape. You will lay down, trying not to flash you guys. You'll close your eyes. Right hand comes back to your heart, left hand comes down to your lower belly. Again, only close your eyes if that feels comfortable. If you notice it feels a little bit dysregulating, same thing as when standing, you'll crack your eyes open ever so slightly, soft gaze. Find a spot up on the ceiling or the wall that you can focus on. And I'm going to breathe with you here. To begin, you'll just focus on your breath. Inhales are through your nose, exhales out your mouth. And as you inhale, your belly will rise, your left hand will rise. So you're breathing into your diaphragm, your low belly, exhale. Your jaw is soft. Relax your tongue heavy in the roof of your mouth. Inhale. Let out some sighs. All you have to do here is inhale and exhale. That is it. There is nothing else. We'll stay here for some time, just breathing in, breathing out. Inhale through your nose, belly rises. Exhale, soften. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, soften. Continue to breathe here. Stay with your breath. If your eyes are cracked open or your eyes are on the screen, know that I'm moving so I can play some earth frequencies, some grounding frequencies, but you are staying in your reclined position, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. All you are doing is breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. The moment you notice you've lost your breath is the moment you come back. Belly rising, belly falling, jaws relaxed, exhale. Belly rising, belly falling. Stay with your breath. Breath is slow and rhythmic. We'll keep your breath as it is and begin to tune into sensation in your physical body. Where are you feeling feelings, emotion, sensation? What became present as you moved and grounded and shook things up? What emotional awareness is living in your body right here, right now, without needing to name it? You're not looking for story. You're staying with your breath and you're just noticing. Where do I feel sensation? Where do I experience temperature, heat, flush, cold, numbness, warmth, maybe joy, pleasure, expansion, or contraction, tightness, fear, anxiety, anger, rage, shame, guilt. You may name the emotion, but know that there's no need to explore why it is here. All you are doing is noticing it. And you imagine sending your breath right there. Sending your breath into any spaces where you feel tension. And here in this moment, you will start to add sound. Maybe that's the simple act of staying with the sigh, the ha. Or maybe you explore, what is the sound of this feeling in my body? If this tightness in my heart, this feeling in my belly, this tingle, this expansion, this joy, this pleasure, this rage, if it had a sound, what would it sound like? If it had a voice, what would it say? And if there's an intense sound, if there are neighbors or whatnot, maybe you grab a pillow, you can scream or moat or cry or howl. Ah. Let your sounds be ugly, let your sounds be full. Oh. You are still breathing in fully through your nose, down into your diaphragm, your low belly. And as you exhale, you make a sound. Ha. Oh. Ha. Maybe you experiment with different sounds. Often the mind comes in here and has some resistance of, this is weird, it sounds weird, I sound funny, what am I doing? What's the point of this? The point is the sound current moves. The point is the sound current moves the emotion, the stagnation, the sensation living in your body. Ah. The point is you learn to reclaim your voice, the power of your own expression, and to no longer hold on to the stagnation from last week, last month, an hour ago, 10 years ago. Ha! This is your chance to let it clear. From your grounded space, roots still rooted to the earth. Ha! Let your sounds get bigger, let your breath get bigger. Ha! Maybe you get curious, you just try a different sound, see how it feels. You might stick out your tongue if there's maybe a moment of wanting to pound your fists or stomp your feet. If you want to shake anything that's intuitive here, stay. This is your moment to express. This is your moment to release. If you feel resistance, if you feel yourself holding back, you breathe into resistance and you sound it out. What does your resistance sound like? What does your self-doubt sound like? What does your self-judgment, your lack of compassion sound like? What does you playing small sound like? What does your body need to do to sound, to express? How does it need to move, to release, to clear? Take 10 more deep breaths here. Biggest sounds. Where is there tension? Breathe into it and exhale, let it move. If you are in the moment, in the process of moving something big, you stay. Stay with your breath, stay with your sound. As you start to feel a space of release, you softly start to back out just as easily as you back in. You return to those gentle sighs. Maybe your breath becomes a little more full. Stay with your deep inhales, your deep exhales. Again, if you are still in the process of breathing, sounding, expressing, you stay. When you feel a sense of completion, you gently begin to back yourself up. And then slowly, gently let go of the control of your breath. Return to natural inhales, natural exhales, whatever that pace is for you. Eyes are still closed or gaze is soft. You're still laying flat on your back. If you are not complete, please stay in your process. You can take a moment to pause the video. Hands can stay on your body or you can let them rest alongside you, palms facing up. You can keep your knees bent or stretch your legs out long. Take a moment, at least for this shorter practice, at least 1 to 2 minutes to rest, to be still. Simply breathing at your natural pace. Still breathing, integrating, noticing. You stay in this still place for as long as you need. Maybe you even enter into a little nap, a little rest. When you feel ready, you'll gently roll over onto your left side, curling up on your left arm, kind of hugging your knees into a ball, holding yourself. If any tears came up, you might blow your nose or wipe your tears away, wrap yourself up. Maybe there were some words of wisdom or compassion that came through that you can repeat to yourself here as you lay on your side. When you feel ready, you'll help yourself up to a comfortable seat. Ideally somewhere where you can kind of have your back supported. You can lean back into the pillows behind you, the wall behind you, wherever you are. Again, if you are still in process or in practice, if you're still laying down, if you're still in that little Shavasana shape, stay. For the sake of being able to have this as a generalized practice available for everyone, I will close us. So there is the option here to grab hold of a journal and do some free writing of symbols you saw, colors, sensation, vision, words, experience, free writing on what comes up, and doing some self-coaching, self-healing, self-processing by free writing, automatic writing. My one asterisk there is do your best not to shift back up into logical thinking mind and try to figure out, why did I feel this way? Why did I see that? What did that mean? Instead, see if you can kind of stay in this more dream state, free write, and maybe you just ask, what do I need to know to carry with me from this little journey? What do I need to know? What do I need to remember? What do I need to practice? And kind of just explore, just free write. There's not a wrong answer here. So don't do your best not to try to find the right one. And know that journaling is optional. A lot of times it can kick us up into the mind. So if you have that tendency, maybe you skip journaling and maybe you just stay and kind of sit in a sort of meditative state. Maybe you go and you get into a bath, a salt bath. Definitely drink some water, a lot of water, right now and throughout the rest of your day, your evening. I often, whenever I do this in group spaces or with private clients, we will usually take this time after you've journaled or written or gone to the bathroom or had a moment for some additional sharing and processing. So, and we'll also often use some emotional freedom technique to kind of continue to tap down anything that came up, if anything still feels really present, or sometimes we just stay in a sort of really gooey space. So it really depends on the journey, the process, the healing, and the alchemy that happened in a given session. Yeah. And that is something you can, if you want to book a one-on-one session, an individual session, either leave a comment below letting me know that you want a session, or you can always send me a direct message and we can set up a session together. And this practice is one of many tools that I use in my intuitive healing space, and such a potent tool for being your own healer, really. Whether we're looking at healing around money blocks or abundance blocks or love blocks or business blocks, or insert any other limitation that the personal development industry is obsessed with and constantly telling us we have. This is a practice that gets you to really be in your own power and reconnect to your own ability to experience and create a release for yourself. Yes, I guide the practice, I walk you through it, and you are the one who creates release. So again, this was a very kind of condensed mini version of this practice. I hope that it served you. If you have questions, or especially if something really intense came up and you feel like you need additional support, please send me a message and reach out to me for some processing. And or if you want to book a session, let me know. I very much hope that this served you. Take very good care of yourself, rest, and be well.